Okay, how is work changing? Well, I think work's changing in 5 big ways. The first thing is that demographics are obviously having a huge impact, both in terms of the ageing of the West and indeed of young people really coming into ascendance in the East. Second thing is technology, of course, is completely changing the way that we work, both with regard to virtual teams, with regard to connectivity, with regard to 5 billion people by 2020 connected through mobile phones. And we don't really know what those 5 billion are going to do. Of course, there's societal changes. You know, we're living much more individual lives. We're tending to have smaller families. We trust organizations less. We don't really trust the institutions that we're members of. So we want to live more autonomous, independent lives. And then finally, of course, there's huge issues around carbon and resources in the world. And we see all of those forces playing together to fundamentally change the way that we're going to work over the next couple of decades. So, what does this mean for HR? Well, I'd say 3 things. Firstly, we really have to think about how we develop executives. I believe that the future is about specialism rather than generalism. Let's face it, general information is available on Wikipedia or Google. You don't really have to keep it in your mind. And so, first of all, I'd say that HR has to really think about becoming specialists, encouraging people to really learn something and to provide the skills and development for them to do so. Number 2, increasingly the value of an organisation and of individuals, it will be held in their networks. So organisations, and HR in particular, need to be very astute about the way they build networks, the way they develop networks, and the mechanisms by which they help networks to work together. And finally, I believe that we have to think much more about the future being around the quality of life rather than simply focusing on pay as the major interface between the individual and the organisation. What does that mean for HR? We need to build work which is more meaningful. We need to think harder about the way that we excite and engage people, and we really need to think a lot more about the quality of working life, not just the cost of working life.